Revealed, her incredible transformation from fat to successful in just 12 months exposed. In the heart of Maplewood lived Jamie, a 35-year-old single mother of two who felt the world closing in around her. The whispers at school events stung like boiling water, and the looks she received as she balanced trays at the diner sometimes made her feel invisible. With every day split between serving breakfasts to families and cleaning homes late into the night, she poured every ounce of energy into making ends meet for Sarah and Noah. But inside, alongside her burdens, a flicker of self-doubt burned fiercely. One sunny afternoon, while waiting for a bus, Jamie spotted a colorful flyer fluttering against the pavement. Much like her dreams, the local community center was offering a fitness program. A wave of hope washed over her. What if this was the lifeboat she'd been waiting for? Gathering all her courage, she signed up. The first session was brutal. Sweat dripped down her face, and breaths came in sharp gasps. But among all the grunted efforts, she felt something shift, a stirring of strength within her. It didn't stop there. At the same time, she found a local support group led by a retired veteran named Tom, who shared stories of resilience that struck a chord deep inside her. Meeting with them was like discovering a secret garden, a place where she could finally bloom. Laughter and encouragement filled the air, and Jamie realized she wasn't alone in her struggles. Suddenly, she felt larger than life, fueled by the acceptance around her. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, but as new workouts and late meetings filled her days, Jamie noticed Sarah and Noah pulling away, their eyes reflecting confusion and worry. They missed their mom, the laughter that once danced in their home. Each evening felt like a tug-of-war between her dream of a better life and the love she had for her children. Then fate took a cruel turn. Just when Jamie saw a chance for a well-paying job, it slipped away like sand through her fingers. The blow knocked the wind out of her. Could she really find success, or was it all just a fantasy? In despair, she wondered if the path she chose was the right one. Little did she know that her dedication had sparked the admiration of her neighbors. They rallied together for a fundraiser to support her dreams, filling a community center hall packed with faces that had once overlooked her. The energy buzzed in the air, raising her spirits. As she stood nervously, staring out at a crowd whose whispers once haunted her, Jamie felt the weight of past judgment scrambling her thoughts. Would they see the woman fighting to break free, or continue to view her as invisible? With her children's eyes fixed on her, full of hope, yet brimming with uncertainty, she took a deep breath to speak. Her heart raced, echoing the age-old question, could she rise above the weight of judgment and embrace her redemption? Jamie faced the crowd, their faces a swirling mix of support and expectation. She could almost hear the heartbeats of Sarah and Noah beside her, a rhythmic reminder of why she had fought so hard to get here. With shaky hands, she gripped the edges of the podium. The air was thick with anticipation, and her throat felt tight, as if each word was caught in a net of doubt. "Thank you all for being here," she finally managed to say, her voice steadier than she felt. "A year ago, I wouldn't have imagined standing in front of you like this." She paused, watching as the crowd leaned in, their eyes bright with encouragement. "I was lost, struggling to keep my head above water. Each day was a battle against my own insecurities." Jamie recalled the whispers at the school, the looks at the diner, and felt a surge of determination. But it's true what they say, you can't change your life without first believing in yourself. The words seemed to echo, rippling through the hall. As she spoke about the struggles of single motherhood, about days that felt endless and nights that were darker than she wished to admit, she glanced over at Sarah and Noah. Their eyes sparkled, pride pushing back their earlier worry. Their mom was fighting, and they could see it. They had seen her transform from someone who barely had energy left to a woman who would not back down. When I found that flyer, she continued, I felt a spark of hope. It led me to a community that welcomed me with open arms, helping me see that I wasn't alone even when I thought I was. Faces in the crowd nodded, the shared understanding creating a silent bond among them. Yet, even with this wave of support, the shadows of doubt threatened to creep back in. She thought of the job opportunity that had slipped away and wondered if this speech would fail to convince anyone of her worth. But she pushed those thoughts aside, focusing instead on the warmth of their smiles, the whispers of encouragement. Thank you for showing me that I matter, Jamie said, her voice trembling with emotion. For reminding me that every dream is worth chasing and that it's okay to ask for help. You've given me courage when I had none. As she finished, a hush fell over the room, replaced by loud applause. It echoed like thunder, a rhythm that built on itself, the kind of sound that cracked the walls of her insecurities piece by piece. Tears welled in her eyes, this was her moment. But just as the applause reached a crescendo, a young woman from the back of the hall stood up, a look of concern etched across her face. But what happens when the money runs out? What's your plan now? The question hung in the air like a storm cloud, heavy and dark. Jamie swallowed hard. The reality was stark. Did she really have a plan? As she turned to face the crowd once more, a new question nagged at her own heart. Was this transformation truly enough, or would she need to step even further outside her comfort zone to claim the life she had been dreaming of? With every heart in the room now focused on her, Jamie could feel the weight of the moment. This was just the beginning. Jamie felt the silence stretch, heavy with the implications of the question. Faces turned to her, awaiting a response. She took a deep breath, fighting the race of her thoughts. What did she have to say? She had shared her heart, her struggles, and now the truth confronted her. Right now, I don't have all the answers, she admitted, her voice a little shaky. She could feel her pulse thumping in her ears, the eyes of the crowd like tiny spotlights, each one amplifying every inch of her vulnerability. I know the road ahead is uncertain. But I promise to keep pushing forward, to keep trying, even when it's hard. The woman who had asked the question seemed to soften a bit, nodding as if she understood the unpolished truth. It was a raw moment, one that spoke to the reality of lives lived outside the spotlight. Jamie's throat tightened. She wasn't just speaking to the crowd, she was speaking to herself. I've made mistakes, and I will make more, she continued, her voice gaining strength. But that's how we learn, right? I'm doing this for my kids. I want them to see that we can fight for our dreams, no matter the odds stacked against us. As the words flowed, they felt like a balm to the uncertainty swirling in her chest. The crowd responded with murmurs of understanding, slowly shifting from doubt to hope. Jamie could sense the crowd rooting for her, and she found solace in their support. And I want to be part of something bigger, she added. I want to help others who might feel alone like I once did. We can lift each other up. Together, we can weather the storms. The applause returned, and this time, it was stronger. Jamie let it wash over her. She felt energy surging through the room, a wave of solidarity. She wasn't just a mom on a podium anymore, she was a voice, a part of a community rising together against the odds. But as the applause echoed around her, a familiar worry flickered at the back of her mind. Sure, she was feeling stronger, more connected, but could those feelings sustain her? What if the support faded? Standing there, she realized she desired not just to inspire but also to create a sustainable future. What did that even look like? Then she spotted Sarah and Noah again. Their bright smiles lit the stage front, and Jamie knew she had one true north: her family. She dared to think ahead. What if this was just the first step? As the crowd quieted, she added, I want to ask all of you to join me. Together, let us build something, a support network, a safety net for each of us. Because I don't want to just hold this courage for myself, we need to share it. Faces lit up, ideas swimming in their expressions, and Jamie felt her heart swelling. But all these thoughts of community and future plans sparked another question deep in her heart. What if the support she was hoping to build would require sacrifices she wasn't yet ready to make? In that moment, Jamie sensed that her journey was far from over. She had the crowd's attention, their warmth, but the path ahead lay shrouded in uncertainty. The applause faded, but the fears lingered. Just then, she glanced a final time at Sarah and Noah, their pride shining brighter than any spotlight. With fresh resolve stirring inside her, she smiled. Let us build something beautiful together. One step at a time. And as she stepped down from the podium, the echo of hope still rippling through the room, Jamie realized she was standing on the brink of something bigger than herself. What challenges awaited? Would she have the courage to face them head-on? Or would fear tether her once more to her past? The journey ahead was unfolding, and Jamie could already feel the first gusts of change at her back. The room buzzed with energy, the applause still ringing in Jamie's ears as she stepped away from the podium. Each clap felt like a heartbeat of hope, but a nagging uncertainty crept into her thoughts. She had lit a spark, but would it stay alive? Would she be able to nurture it into a flame? As she walked through the crowd, people reached out, patting her arm or offering words of encouragement. It was overwhelming, the weight of their belief resting on her shoulders. She wished she could bottle this moment, take it home like a precious keepsake. But home was only a few blocks away, filled with laundry, homework, and the chaotic rhythm of family life. Would the magic of tonight carry over? Mom! You were amazing! Noah's enthusiastic voice cut through her thoughts. He rushed to her side, his bright eyes dancing with excitement. Jamie knelt down, pulling him into a tight hug. She could smell the faint sweetness of his hair, a comforting reminder of the little boy he still was amidst the growing pressures of adolescence. You think so? She asked, her voice softening. Definitely. Everyone loved you. He beamed, pride practically radiating off him. Sarah joined them, grinning from ear to ear. You inspired all of them, Mom. Just look at the crowd. The two of them shared a glance, the familiar bond of their little family sparking a warmth in Jamie's chest. And yet, the anxiety fluttered within her like an uninvited guest. Thank you, guys. It means the world, she said, though the heaviness of her thoughts lurked behind her smile. What if this moment faded? What if she couldn't deliver on the promise of change she had just ignited? Back home, the reality of her busy life awaited. Dishes piled near the sink, laundry lay strewn across the couch, and the clutter of everyday life quietly laughed at her ambitious dreams. Later that evening, Jamie sat at the kitchen table, staring at the half-finished project for the support network she had envisioned. The notes scattered before her were filled with ideas, community meetups, guest speakers, a resource guide. But each possibility was overshadowed by a creeping worry. Would anyone really show up? Would this truly make a difference? Noah's laughter echoed from the living room, a sound she never wanted to silence. Their playtime was a welcome distraction, but as she listened, a thought struck her. What if she involved them? What if this journey didn't just belong to her but became a family endeavor? Hey, guys! She called out, her voice brimming with newfound energy. What's up, Mom? Sarah poked her head around the corner. What if we made this a family project? Something we can do together? Jamie's heart raced at the thought. I'm in. Noah shouted, bouncing onto the chair next to her. What are we going to do? Sarah asked, curiosity lighting her face. Jamie spread out her notes. Community gatherings, workshops. Even cleaning projects to help families in need. We could help others while showing them that change is possible. The kids leaned in, excitement building in their voices. Ideas bounced around the table like popcorn, and Jamie felt that old familiar feeling returning, the rush of possibility. With every suggestion they made, Jamie's heart swelled with faith. They were in this together. But just as the plans began to take shape, the reality of what lay ahead struck her again. Would they really follow through when things got tough? Was she asking too much of them? "Mom, it's going to be awesome." Noah's words cut through her doubts, but the butterflies in her stomach wouldn't fly away. "Yeah, let us show everyone what we can do," Sarah echoed with fervor. And Jamie realized that this was where her path diverged. Would she step boldly into this new chapter, or would fear dull the colors of the dreams she was trying to paint? As the laughter and chatter filled the room, she looked at her children and felt a wave of determination wash over her. This wasn't just about her anymore, it was about them, about building a legacy. But could she keep the courage alive when the going got tough? With that question hanging in the air, Jamie felt both excited and terrified. The world beyond her door awaited, and she could almost hear it whispering, "Change is coming." But would she be ready to embrace it? The next morning felt like a whirlwind. Jamie awoke with her mind racing, the vision of the support network replaying like a movie reel against the backdrop of her cluttered kitchen. Determination hung in the air, mixing with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. It was a feeling she had chased for so long, and as she sipped from her favorite mug, she knew today was the day for action. After breakfast, she gathered her kids, their faces still groggy from sleep. "Let us make a list of things we can do this week," she suggested, her hands trembling slightly with excitement. "What kind of things?" Sarah squinted, still stretching her arms. "Well, for starters, we can post flyers around the neighborhood about our first gathering. We could also create a fun event that'll interest everyone, something like a community cleanup or a bake sale," Jamie replied, eyes sparkling with ideas. "Ooh, I can bake!" Noah exclaimed, his enthusiasm igniting a fire within her. "Count me in for decorations," Sarah chimed in. In that moment, Jamie felt the weight on her shoulders lighten a bit. Seeing her children eager to participate filled her with a renewed sense of hope. They were all in this together. Time sped by as they spent the day planning. It was invigorating. The kitchen turned into a chaos of notebooks, markers, and focused energy. They doodled, brainstormed, and laughed until their sides hurt. It wasn't just about chores or responsibilities anymore, it was about creating something bigger, something meaningful. But as the sun dipped low in the sky, Jamie hesitated. What if they failed? What if no one showed up at their first event? An unsettling fear gnawed at her insides. "Hey, remember, this is just the first step," she reminded herself, gripping the edge of the kitchen table. After dinner, when the house settled into a cozy silence, Jamie pulled out her notes again. She found herself staring at her vision statement. The words on paper felt too far from the dream she was crafting. What if it wasn't good enough? What if she couldn't lead her family through the labyrinth of expectations and fears? "Mom!" Noah called, breaking her thoughts. "We should make some posters for our event. The more colorful, the better." His enthusiasm made Jamie smile, but the heaviness in her heart lingered. "Let us do it," she responded, trying to channel the confidence she wished she felt. They huddled around the dining room table, colors splashing across the paper. With each stroke of the marker, Jamie felt a sense of freedom, a hint of bravery washing over her. But just as hope surged, doubt rushed in. Were they prepared for the doubts of their neighbors? The silence of those who didn't believe? Would they face rejection? Retreating to the living room later, Jamie caught a glimpse of herself in the reflection of the window. The faint creases under her eyes told a different story, one woven with late nights and early mornings. "You can do this," she whispered, both to herself and to the spirit of change she desperately wanted to welcome. That night, while her children drifted off to sleep, Jamie sat by the window. The stars twinkled like tiny beacons of hope, the world outside breathing a rhythm of its own. Feeling small in the vastness, she mused about what awaited them. "Change is coming," she murmured to herself, embracing the uncertainty. It filled her with both trepidation and excitement. What would the morning bring? As she closed her eyes, she could almost hear the echo of the crowd's applause from the night before. But this time, it was accompanied by the laughter of her children, the sound of belief, unshakable. Would they be ready to face the trials ahead? Would their bond grow stronger as they ventured into the unknown together? As thoughts swirled around her mind like autumn leaves in the wind, Jamie's heart raced. Tomorrow, they would step into the world waiting outside, and she could only hope that the power of their unity would shine bright enough to break through the doubt holding her back. The night deepened, but her dreams were just beginning to take shape. The sun rose with gentle rays piercing through the curtains, nudging Jamie awake. She bolted upright, heart racing as the day she had long envisioned was finally here. She could hear Noah and Sarah murmuring around in the next room, their energy radiating even before breakfast. "Let us get this started," she called out, forcing a brave smile despite the flutter of nerves in her stomach. As they gathered around the breakfast table, Jamie took a moment to soak in the excitement. They shared pancakes, laughter, and plans. It wasn't just breakfast, it was a fuel for their first community event. After finishing, they headed outside with an assortment of colorful posters they had created the night before, each one brimming with hope. "Okay, kids, we need to hit all the main intersections in our neighborhood," Jamie instructed, a sense of purpose igniting her words. "Can we go to the park first?" Sarah asked, her eyes lighting up. "Great idea." "People are always there," Noah added, bouncing on the balls of his feet. The trio walked through the quiet streets, their hands occupied with vibrant poster boards. With each step, Jamie's heartbeat synchronized with the rhythm of her children's laughter. It was a simple walk, but a powerful one. They were on a mission. Arriving at the park, they noticed a few people setting up for a weekend picnic. Jamie took a deep breath, summoning courage. She approached a couple sitting under a broad oak tree, the shade providing a quiet refuge from the warmth of the morning. "Hi. We're putting together a community event next weekend, and we'd love for you to join us," Jamie said, her voice steady, even though her palms were clammy. "Oh, that sounds wonderful," the woman replied, pausing in her sandwich making. "What kind of event?" "A bake sale and cleanup day. We want to bring the neighborhood together." The more Jamie spoke, the more animated she became, the initial fear lost among her words. As she continued sharing her vision, Jamie felt the warmth of acceptance radiating around her. Others began listening and nodding, joining in with their own ideas and excitement. The small patch of grass transformed into a buzzing hub of energy, people chiming in with their contributions. But then a voice chimed in from the fringes of the gathering, sharp and cold. "You really think anyone cares about your little event?" Jamie turned, holding her breath at the sight of a neighbor, Mrs. Turner. The woman appeared almost disinterested, arms crossed firmly over her chest, doubt etched on her face. "People are busy," Mrs. Turner continued, "they won't show up." Jamie's heart sank the slightest bit, the doubt slipping back in, whispering shadows of what-ifs. She recalled all those late nights wrestling with fears. But before she could spiral, Noah gripped her hand tightly, his determination unyielding. "She's wrong. Look how many people are here. We'll make a difference," he proclaimed, sheer innocence radiating from him. The words poured like sunlight through dark clouds, and Jamie felt the flutter of doubt give way to something more powerful, the strength of her little family standing alongside her. Suddenly, the mood shifted. Others began to rally around, sharing ideas and testimonials about past community events that had transformed their neighborhood. Hope ignited as people began signing up to volunteer. Conversations filled the air, blending voices into a tapestry of dreams and possibilities. As Jamie stepped back to take it all in, she felt a wave of excitement mixed with trepidation. Maybe Mrs. Turner was right, or maybe, just maybe, they'd find a way to reach those who felt disconnected, thriving in their own little bubbles. What if they don't come? A whisper echoed in her mind, but another part shouted louder, but what if they do? With renewed resolve, Jamie took a deep breath, her focus sharpening. "Let us keep spreading the word. We'll make this happen." she shouted, igniting the crowd once more. As they moved on to the next corner of the park, Jamie couldn't shake Mrs. Turner's words. Could she really sway those who doubted? Tomorrow, they would continue this journey together. But the real challenge lay ahead. How would they reach those who needed this change the most? The thought lingered, weighing on her as they ventured into the unknown, hand in hand, as a family ready to fight for their vision. Would they break through the barriers of skepticism and find the community she envisioned? Would her dream bloom into reality? The answers awaited just around the corner. Jamie tossed and turned in her sleep that night, Mrs. Turner's words echoing in her mind like an unwelcome ghost. But with the dawn came clarity. She had ignited something, hadn't she? The sun streamed in, warming her skin as she sat up on the edge of her bed, determination coursing through her. Today, they would take the next step. Kids. Time to rise and shine. She called out, a touch of excitement bubbling in her voice. Noah stumbled in first, his hair a wild mess, while Sarah followed closely, stretching as though she'd been hibernating. Within moments, they were gathered around the breakfast table again, where Jamie laid out a new plan for the day. "We're going door to door," she announced, trying hard to mask her anxiety with enthusiasm. "What if people don't want to listen?" Sarah asked, her brows furrowing. Jamie knew that feeling all too well, but she held her ground. "Then we'll just have to make them want to listen." That seemed to electrify Noah. "Yeah. We'll share how fun it'll be." Armed with homemade flyers and the same colorful posters from yesterday, they set off into the neighborhood. Each step felt heavier with doubt, but every time Jamie glanced at her children's eager faces, it fortified her resolve. As they knocked on the first few doors, she took note of the mixed reactions. Some people smiled, eyes lighting up with interest. Others raised eyebrows, looking disinterested or simply shutting their doors without a word. But with every interaction, Jamie found pieces of encouragement scattered among the thorns of rejection. At one house, a man named Mr. Thompson, surprisingly animated, agreed to bake brownies for the bake sale. "Count me in," he said, eyes glimmering. "See, Mom? That was easy." Noah chirped as they walked away, but just as they were about to rejoice in their small win, they approached a corner house where Mrs. Turner sat on her porch, sipping coffee. Jamie hesitated. "Would you like to join us next weekend for the bake sale and cleanup?" Jamie asked, keeping her voice steady. Mrs. Turner's gaze didn't waver. "You'll have to prove that it's worth anyone's time first, Jamie." A chill swept over Jamie as if the sun had hidden behind a dark cloud. A doubt pierced through a doubt that had taken root deep inside her since the beginning. But Noah, in his unfiltered innocence, chimed in. "It'll be fun and good for everyone. You should come." Mrs. Turner raised an eyebrow, but surprisingly, she didn't dismiss them. Instead, she leaned back in her chair, considering. "I'll think about it. But you kids need a bigger crowd if you want real change." With that, she returned to her drink, leaving a tense silence in the air. Jamie pressed her lips together, heart pounding as they left the porch. "Maybe she will come," Sarah offered, trying to lighten the mood, but Jamie felt a weight settle in her chest. What if they couldn't rally enough support? What if Mrs. Turner was right? As they walked away, Jamie was left reflecting on how hard it was to convince those who lay comfortably out of reach of community dreams. But she couldn't let go of the flicker of hope igniting within her. "That's it!" Jamie suddenly exclaimed, a spark igniting in her mind. "We need more than just flyers. We need to show them the change we want in action." The kids looked at her, their youthful excitement matching hers. "How?" they both asked in unison. "We'll organize a mini cleanup right now. Let us do it here and now. Let us make it about more than just words," Jamie proclaimed, the adrenaline surging through her. With their spirits lifted, they began collecting litter in front of Mrs. Turner's house, brightening the sunny sidewalk with each piece of trash they transformed into a cleaner environment. As passers-by stopped to watch, Jamie could feel eyes on them, curiosity evident. Each moment brought her a step closer to turning doubt into action. The sun dipped slightly in the sky, casting golden light over their work, a symbol of the brightness each small change could bring. But deep down, Jamie knew this was just the beginning. Would small efforts shine a light on their community? Could they prove the impact of coming together? And was Mrs. Turner watching closely, perhaps beginning to soften? The uncertainty lingered, compelling Jamie to push forward. Tomorrow would be another day, another chance. Could they truly win over the hearts of those who doubted them? The question hung in the air like a promise yet to be fulfilled. The next morning, dawn broke bright and fresh, bringing with it a renewed sense of purpose. Jamie rose earlier than usual, her mind buzzing with ideas. Yesterday had felt like a warm-up, a tiny taste of what was possible, and now she needed to run with that feeling. "Kids, rise and shine." She called out, her energy palpable even before they emerged from their rooms. Today was going to be different. At breakfast, Jamie laid out her ambitious plan. "How about we host an open house in our backyard? We can show everyone what we're doing, what we can achieve together. It's not just a bake sale, it's a way to bring the community together." Noah's eyes lit up. "Like a party?" "Exactly," Jamie replied, warmth blooming in her chest. "Games, delicious treats, and the chance to clean up together. Let us make it fun." Sarah nodded, her enthusiasm bubbling. "We can ask the neighbors to help, right? Like Mr. Thompson and the Brownies?" Jamie grinned, her heart swelling with pride as she watched their passion ignite. "Yes. Let us spread the word. Every person we invite can bring something, a dish, a friend, or even just ideas." They spent the next hour creating bright invitations, covered in colorful drawings and cheerfully scribbled details. Each flyer felt alive with hope and energy as they ran from door to door, their excitement infectious. More than once, Jamie heard echoes of the laughter that filled their home, and it tugged at her heartstrings, reminding her why this mattered so much. As they made their way through neighborhoods, Jamie grew more confident despite the lingering doubt in the back of her mind. They met people who were curious. A couple of children even begged their parents to join, eager to be part of something bigger. If it could spark interest in just a few neighbors, perhaps others would take notice too. Then they reached the park at the end of their street. A handful of people were gathered, chatting, their laughter wafting on the breeze. It gave Jamie an idea. "What about a banner?" she suggested suddenly. "We could hang it right at the park entrance. It'll grab people's attention." Noah and Sarah exchanged excited glances, their faces bright with approval. For the next hour, they collected supplies and got to work on a colorful banner that proclaimed their mission: "Join us for fun, food, and cleaning our community." As the sun climbed higher, drawing more people to the park, Jamie felt a tingle of hope flutter in her chest. Maybe it was working. Maybe Mrs. Turner would see this and change her mind. But as they hung the banner, a figure approached from the outskirts, moving toward the gathering, a tall man with a stern expression. It was Mr. Hargrove, the neighborhood association president, known for being a tough nut to crack. "Are you kids up to no good?" he called out, crossing his arms. A hush fell over the light-hearted chatter, eyes darting nervously to Jamie. Panic gripped her momentarily, but she took a steadying breath. "No, Mr. Hargrove. We're planning a community event to clean up our neighborhood. Would you like to join us?" His brow narrowed as he scrutinized them. "Cleaning? You think that's enough to draw people in?" Jamie's heart raced. She could sense doubt surrounding them like a thick fog. But this was her chance, so she pressed on. "It's more than cleaning. It's about bringing everyone together, making a difference as a community. Will you at least help us get the word out?" He paused, his eyes softening ever so slightly. Jamie held her breath, praying her words might reach him. The moment hung heavy in the air, and behind him, the onlookers shifted nervously. Would he dismiss them, or could they stir something in him? Finally, Mr. Hargrove uncrossed his arms, but didn't he respond. Instead, he turned slightly, glancing back toward the gathering crowd. Could he be reconsidering? The weight of the moment pressed against Jamie's chest, excitement and fear mingling. This was not just about her anymore, it was about hope for everyone in the neighborhood. What if Mr. Hargrove could be swayed? What if he could help them make their vision a reality? The next words would be crucial. Jamie felt the moment stretch, tension building like a taut wire, ready to snap. Would this unfolding moment mark a shift in their community's heart, or would it all fall flat before it even began? All she knew was that everything hinged on what Mr. Hargrove would decide next. Mr. Hargrove turned back toward Jamie, his expression oddly contemplative. The whisper of anticipation swept through the crowd like a breeze, their eyes locked on the exchange. It felt as though the world had narrowed down to this one moment: the tall man with the resolute demeanor and the young woman with dreams that hung in the air like colored streamers. "Let me ask you this, kids," he said finally, a hint of curiosity dancing in his deep voice. "What are you really hoping to accomplish?" Jamie steadied herself, drawing a deep breath. Her mind raced as she echoed her inner purpose. "We want to clean our neighborhood, of course, but it's about more than that. We want to show everyone that we can make a difference. Together. People have lost touch, and we want to bring them back." As she spoke, she could see it. For a blink, she envisioned a park filled with laughter, bright decorations strung overhead, and families working side by side. She wanted to believe it so deeply that every word became a piece of that vision. To her surprise, a flicker of something approval crossed Mr. Hargrove's face before he masked it again behind a stern exterior. He nodded slowly, and the air shifted slightly, infused with a tangible hope. "All right then," he said, his voice stronger now. "Show me what you've got. I'll help get the word out. But only if you can prove your event will draw people in." A wave of disbelief washed over Jamie, then a rush of hope. "You will? Really?" She blurted out. "Mr. Hargrove nodded cautiously, shifting his weight. "But remember, it's not just about the cleanup. You need to make it a real community event. Show me you can make it fun," he stressed, his tone serious. Jamie and the kids exchanged gleeful glances, adrenaline coursing through them. "We can do that." Sarah chimed in, her hands clasped. "We'll add games, a talent show, maybe a few community announcements." "Exactly." Noah jumped in. "We could invite local bands to play. It'll be awesome." Mr. Hargrove raised an eyebrow but allowed a slight smile. "Well, for now, you've got me curious. You have 1 week to impress me. Make it count." He turned and walked away, the shadow he cast lifting slightly from Jamie's shoulders. She felt stronger already, the challenge ahead sparking a wildfire of excitement. They had a week, and she intended to make every second matter. "All right, team." Jamie clapped her hands together. "We've got our work cut out for us. Let's brainstorm ideas right now. What do we want this event to be?" They gathered in a tight circle, energy bouncing like electricity, excited chatter filling the air with creative fervor. Their ideas flooded out: a craft station for kids, food stalls featuring everyone's favorite treats, even a mural wall for neighbors to express what community meant to them. The possibilities seemed endless, but as they dove into planning, Jamie couldn't shake a lingering worry. What if they put in all this effort, and it didn't work? What if no one showed up? The nagging doubts didn't disappear, but the thrill of their vision pushed her onward, urging her to create something beautiful and meaningful. The week sped by in a blur of laughter, late nights of crafting, and deep conversations about community spirit. Days filled with hope collided with panic as Jamie found herself juggling invitations, organizing volunteers, and curating fun activities. Every moment mattered, and she couldn't ignore the rising pressure. On the final night before the event, Jamie stood in their vibrant, decorated backyard, taking in the colorful light strung overhead and the buzzing energy around her. It felt alive with potential, but her heart raced as uncertainty washed over her. She turned to Noah and Sarah, who were working on a final sign. "What if no one comes?" she whispered, the concern slipping out before she could hold it in. Noah met her gaze, his expression thoughtful. "But what if they do? We'll show everyone what we can do. Together." His words wrapped around her like a warm hug, but before she could respond, the door swung open behind them, and a familiar voice cut through the weight of her fears. "Hey, Jamie. Are you ready for tomorrow? I hope you have everything planned," Mrs. Turner said, a bemused smile on her face. The weight of her presence loomed larger than Jamie realized. This was at the moment that could define all their efforts. Would they win over Mrs. Turner's heart, or would she bring their hopes crashing down? As Jamie faced the swirling sea of possibility ahead, she knew that the night was far from over, and that one pivotal question remained. Would tomorrow finally mark the shift they longed for, or would it unravel before their very eyes? Jamie stood in her backyard, excitement mingling with anxiety as the sun sank low, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. Tomorrow marked their big event, the culmination of sleepless nights filled with planning and fervor. Her heart raced. This was it, her moment to shine. Around her, the yard buzzed with energy. Neighbors were starting to set up, carrying boxes of brownies, snacks, and games. Noah and Sarah flitted about, hanging colorful decorations and chatting with everyone. Laughter wove through the air, each sound nudging Jamie's nerves to quiet down. If only she could bottle this feeling. As twilight deepened, she gathered everyone's attention. "All right. Thank you all for being here. Tomorrow, we make our community shine." The cheers and clapping flowed back to her, wrapping her in a cocoon of warmth. Yet, Mrs. Turner lingered at the edge, arms crossed, eyebrows raised. Will this actually make a difference? Her words pierced through the jovial atmosphere like icy rain. Jamie's heart sank. What if Mrs. Turner was right? But before she could falter, Noah broke in. "It already is. Look at everyone coming together." His voice held the innocence of belief, and Jamie realized he spoke the truth. "Exactly. We're showing people that change is possible," Jamie affirmed, locking eyes with her kids. "One step at a time." The next morning dawned with a bright, crisp chill that filled the air with the thrill of potential. Jamie awoke earlier than usual, her heart thrumming with anticipation. She dressed quickly, excitement rendering her nerves nearly imperceptible. She joined the kids in the backyard, where the morning light flickered through the trees, illuminating the colorful banners tied to the fence. They exchanged nervous glances, each smile revealing traces of their anticipation. They arrived at the park, and the space felt electric. Tables were set for food, games arranged in clusters, a makeshift stage waiting for local performers. Jamie relished in the sight of familiar faces, in the smiles from neighbors she hadn't fully known before, and in the laughter echoing around them, weaving connections they hadn't anticipated. The first guests trickled in, eyes wide with curiosity. Jamie felt her heart catch like a kite caught in a gust. Would they truly stay? As she served drinks, familiar voices mingled, each laugh a step toward breaking barriers. Mr. Hargrove arrived, his stern expression softened by a spark of curiosity. Jamie noticed the way he observed, brows slightly upturned, watching the transformation unfold. Hours melted into laughter and connection. Jamie felt her spirit lift with every moment, the children grinning as they participated in games, neighbors exchanging stories, and the air filled with the rich scent of baked goods. When it came time for the talent show, Jamie stood on the makeshift stage, a wavering mixture of nerves and elation. "Thank you all for joining us today," she began, her voice trembling but strong. "When I started this, I wanted to find a way for our community to connect, to support one another. We're in this together, and today proves that we are so much stronger united." Her gaze swept over the crowd, seeking familiar faces, landing on Mrs. Turner. The woman's expression had softened, her arms uncrossed, curiosity glimmering in her eyes. Jamie continued, change isn't easy, and it isn't always comfortable. But each step we take together can lead to something beautiful. Noah and Sarah cheered as their friends took the stage, showcasing their talents. As the sun dipped slightly, bathing everyone in golden light, the crowd erupted with applause and laughter. Jamie felt tears prick at her eyes, not from sadness, but from hope blooming in unexpected ways. As the day wound down and the crowd began to disperse, Jamie stole a quiet moment to herself. She leaned against a tree, taking a deep breath. The worries hadn't completely ebbed, but she realized something important: the joy and hope they had created today were in her hands. They had all taken a chance on each other, and together they had sparked connection. As she turned, she saw Mrs. Turner approach, a tentative smile breaking the woman's usually stern facade. "You did a fantastic job, Jamie," she said, nodding with genuine admiration. "I underestimated your vision." Jamie felt her heart flutter. "Thank you, that means a lot. We really hoped to show what we could do together." Mrs. Turner glanced around at the laughter echoing through the park and took a deep breath. "Maybe we can strategize for next time? I have a few ideas." Jamie's heart soared. "Absolutely. Let us show everyone what change looks like." As Sarah and Noah joined her, bright smiles lighting their faces, Jamie knew this was just the beginning of something powerful. They wouldn't just wait for change, they'd create it, piece by piece, moment by moment. In that golden twilight, Jamie realized their story was unfolding before them, a beautiful narrative born from resilience, laughter, and love. She clasped her children's hands tightly, a newfound strength kindling in her heart. And just like that, they stepped forward, ready to embrace whatever came next, together. If you've connected with Jamie's journey, it's time to take action. Subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that can inspire you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread the word. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this heartfelt ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Your support is what fuels us, and only true fans understand the importance of these actions. Let's keep this momentum going.